Hello, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to the American Ultra Stock. Here we are again. Today's a bit of a different video. Braden and I bringing to you guys a tier list of the USMNT jerseys. Now, we saw this week there was apparently a leak of the models that we are going to be using, the jerseys that will be played at Copa America and going forward for the season. A lot of talk. Why don't we innovate and change things around? Well, today we're going to look at the jerseys that were perhaps historical. We can have a little sneak peek of the ones that we selected in chronological order. Braden, which one's the first one?
Yeah, like you said, we picked out 17 of what we view as the most iconic and a couple of the recent ones as well. Jerseys from the USMNT to order in a tier list. If there's any jerseys that you think we forgot, please let us know in the comments. We'd be happy to interact with you guys there. But to start things off, like you said, we're going to go in reverse chronological order, starting with the oldest one on the list. And it's going to be the first one there. You can see the 1988 jersey from the Olympics, and I think this jersey is pretty solid. Honestly, I think it shows a lot of maybe creativity and some extra layers that we don't have in our kits now, which is a bit of a shame. I would actually put this one up in elite. You can see the tiers there are second highest. I think this is a pretty good jersey. What would you say, Yuri?
I actually think it's nice to start off with an Adidas model because we have been so used with and stuck with Nike for forever, it seems. So you can see there that the logo was different at that time, contrary to what it is today. The federations could use their logos playing in the Olympics, and we had a really nice one. That logo is really nice. It screams USA, screams America right there. And I think it's a nice pattern. Adidas used to make such bangers at that time. Every jersey that you have around that area in the 80s, it looks like a retro that could go for $200 these days. So yeah, I'm actually going to put in the highest as well. I think that this one is pretty good. I feel like if you list this on eBay or somewhere, people will pay up. So, but I agree with you. I think that maybe not the highest, but just right up top there. Definitely a good one. I would be glad if we got another one of these. But moving on, now which one we have next?
Yeah, the next one is probably the most iconic one, the 1994 away kit. You can see with the stars going down in kind of like a diagonal pattern. I'm going to just be simple with this one. This is iconic. It's one of the most recognizable USA jerseys. And honestly, no bias here, I think it's one of the best international jerseys ever, just bar none, any country. I think it's so good. I wish we had something that was even close to this these days because the level has completely fallen off a cliff, but we'll get into that a little bit later. This one has to be iconic. My favorite USMNT jersey ever.
Yeah, I think that this will be a consensus in the fan base that it's the best USMNT jersey, really. Maybe for some people it's not their favorite one, but they will say still the best one because it's such a nice one. And yeah, this one is so iconic. Also, it was the first World Cup we hosted. And well, now we have another one coming up. Let's hope that the next time around in 26, we're going to get some iconic ones as well. And also, the reason why we don't have that many iconic is because, sadly, we haven't really won anything, guys. If we had won an Olympic medal or a Copa America, we would have more here definitely included. But for now, this one really does make a mark. And I'm excited to see the next one that's on the list.
Yeah, it would be cool, definitely, if our jerseys for 2026 maybe even paid homage to the 1994 ones, like you said, since we hosted that one and we're going to be hosting again in 26. Kind of a remake of that would be so cool, but time will tell on that one. And the next jersey we're going to rank is the 2002-2003 home kit. You see the little red on the sides, mainly white. I think it's definitely more color than our home kits have been since then. I think these are color iconic, maybe not as much as the 1994 or some of the other ones. Honestly,
jersey, it's not bad. No one can really complain. And I liked how the pattern for Nike was at that time. They used to be so much more creative. I mean, you look at the Brazil jerseys in that time, every Nike national team, as Nike always does, just a pattern. They just shove the colors of the national team there. But we have such good colors that it manages to look nice, but it's a solid job, but definitely not one of the most inspiring ones. And which one have you got next? We're already in 2002, so now we're going on to the modern ones. Maybe some of the subscribers you guys can recognize that we have worn in the past. Which one is it?
Yeah, the next one is going to be a bigger jump here. We're going to 2007, and our special jersey for that Copa America that we took part in, actually, and maybe it's a good time because we're going to be taking place in Copa America again this summer. And I actually really like these kits. You can tell there's a bit of a pinstripe pattern, the white and the blue. The crest, I think, as well. The crest at that time was so nice. It's such an improvement on what we have now. And overall, I'm going to put it, I think it's a pretty similar kit to the 1988 Olympic ones that we have up in Elite. So I'm going to have to put it in the same place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Nike manages to go wrong with the colors that we have. I mean, even looking at these right here, it's crazy, really, because with the colors that we have, we really should have fan favorites year in, year out. I agree with you. I'll maybe put it in solid, but I would agree with you if you want to put Elite. I think they're really nice. And let's hope that we fare better than we did at that Copa America in this edition that's coming up. And which one is next?
Definitely. I hope we have some better results than back then. But now moving on to the next one, it's going to be the 2010 away kit, which featured the sash that I think a lot of fans have even said that maybe we need to go back to that. The dark blue kit with the white sash down the middle. It's pretty simple, but I think it's effective. I don't know if I would put it in Elite necessarily, but I think definitely top of the middle tier does the job. I like it better than the 2002 home kit that we already ranked for sure. I don't know if it touches the other two blue ones that are up there, but I think it's a pretty solid kit.
Yeah, I think this is one that a lot of people will have a little bit of either you really like it or some people just think it's meh. I think I'll just put it in the middle. I think it's nice, an innovation definitely from what we're used to. It's different, but yeah, I would agree. I think that just in the middle of the pack is fine. Now, it seems like we have a crazy one coming up.
I think the next one, this one is a contender alongside the 94 kit for our most iconic ones ever. The 2002 Waldo kits, as they're so affectionately known. Another one is very simple. They have to be up and iconic. I think so many fans want us to go back to this. Every time we release a new kit, all the comments are filled with, go back to Waldo, go back to Waldo. And it would be a great idea, honestly. These kits are so nice. Simple, honestly, just the white and the red stripes, but it's so American. And I think it's become symbolic with the USMNT at this point. So it has to be iconic.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if Nike read the comments, they would instantly just make Waldo kits year in, year out, because we are the stars and stripes and we never see stripes anywhere really. It's so rare that we get one of these days. And yeah, those look amazing. It has to be right up there as S tier if we had to rank it that way. Yeah, it's amazing. I hope that sometime soon, imagine how nice if we get a Waldo kit and a remake of the 94 away one. That would be elite for the next World Cup. But you never know. Nike's probably going to shove a pattern that every other national team has, and we'll have to deal with it. Now, moving on to another one. This one is really nice. One of my personal favorites. Which one have you got, Braden?
This is a special kit that we made. It's known as the Centennial kit from 2013. It's very simple, just plain white, but the crest, as you can see, I don't know if you could tell by this, but we'll have an image on it over the overlay. It's a different crest, special for the Centennial, which I think was a very nice touch to kind of switch up something that usually isn't switched up, usually something that stays the same. So I think I'm going to put this one in Elite. I think it's a special moment for the national team, the Centennial kit. It came at a pretty decent time right after it took place in the Confederations Cup and had some significant results. So I think this kit's pretty solid, pretty simple, like I said, but I like the change in the crest, so I'd put it up in Elite.
Yeah, I would agree. Honestly, I feel like out of all the kits, it's probably the one that if I had the chance, I'd buy first out of all these ones. But I agree. I think Elite is just fine. I like how, I know it's simple, but just the collar and the sleeves, it looks so nice with that really strong, imposing navy, really dark navy blue. Yeah, I like this one. And the Centennial, the crest is amazing. I really like it. Now, moving on to a little bit more recent times. By now, I believe that most people would remember having one of these or wearing one of these and seeing other people and us playing it as well.
Yeah, so the next one's going to be, like you said, the 2014 home kit. We have both the 2014 kits not here, but we'll rank the home kit first. And this one, I actually really like this one. I actually rate this one higher than the Centennial one because you mentioned the collar on the last one. I think the collar is a really nice touch, the more traditional, nicer sort of collar that we don't see in a lot of kits these days. And like I said before, with I think the 2010 ones, the crest is so nice. It's very simple, just a plain white kit, but I think it brings back good memories as well because that World Cup was very fun. Honestly, we made it out the group of death, had a very memorable game against Belgium in the round of 16. I think honestly everything from that World Cup is just good vibes. So I'd put that one even ahead of the Centennial and up in elite.
Yeah, for what we have, I'm not trying to defend Klinsmann. We see what he has done even with South Korea recently. But for what we had, honestly, looking back, it was a lot better than I thought at the time. It was really nice. It was really vibes, really. We managed to get out, John Brooks scoring that goal. And yeah, it was such a nice moment. I think that even with Jermaine Jones in the news lately, some people may have looked at those highlights for that World Cup and have seen that this is a pretty nice kit. I agree with you. And yeah, now we have the away one. This one is iconic for a lot of people as well. Something that we definitely don't see too much these days. What is it, Braden?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, the 2014 away kit. And I think it's kind of sort of what the leaks from 2024, the ones that you can see at the end of the tier list that we'll get to at the end of the video. I think it's kind of what they tried to copy, sort of. You can see the red, white, and blue. Whether that one was as good as these ones, you'll have to wait and see for our opinion on those. But I really like these 2014 away kits. Like I said, everything about the 2014 World Cup was great, and this was the highlight for me, even more than some of the on-the-pitch stuff. I think these jerseys are so nice. I'd love if we had a remake of those, just because I think the level after this has dropped off significantly. We'll get into the more recent jerseys later on in the tier list, but I think this one has to go up an iconic. I think this one and the other two that are already up there are definitely the most well-recognized USMNT jerseys. And I think this one, even if you just go to most countries in the world, I think you could show them this jersey without the crest even, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's the US.
Yeah, I will say this already, kind of spoiling my opinion on the next ones, but we had it all. This one was the last really nice original kit, in my opinion. And yeah, I really like that one. I think that everybody also, just like the Waldo one, everyone loves this one. And yeah, Nike tried to remake it, but we got into that later. Now we move on to even more recent times. This was a traumatic area because after the 2014 World Cup, we really had it all. Look what happened.
And this kit in particular brings back some very bad memories. You can see the picture that I have there. It's Clint Dempsey, and it's from that game against Trinidad and Tobago in 2017. This kit was the 2016 home kit, but we wore it for that game that ultimately ended our hopes of going to the 2018 World Cup. The darkest moment in recent, at least, USMNT history, maybe just in general overall. And honestly, the kits themselves, I actually don't mind the kits, to be honest. I think the blue sleeves are a nice touch. The white, it looks pretty solid, but for the memories that are attached with it, I'm gonna have to put them in the lowest. Burn them, burn the memory. I never want to hear about that again.
I'll be honest, I would maybe like this kit if the tone of the blue is a little bit different. I just see it's soft. When I look at that, maybe it's because of the game, but I'll just leave it at the very bottom. Not only just because of the campaign, really. I'm not going to get into the team that we had that year, but just the kit on itself, I wouldn't buy that kit. I would typically have very similar jerseys every year. If it's something nice and a little bit different, I'll get it. But that one, nah, I'll never spend my money on that one. And just soft. I mean, it has to be a little bit imposing. Come on, it's a national team. So I'll rank that one at the lowest one. Now, up next.
Up next, another one from that era, the 2017 kit for the Gold Cup that year. And this is an interesting one. It's kind of a new kit. We haven't seen one of these on this tier list yet. It's kind of similar to the Waldo ones, but a lot worse because the white stripes are replaced by blue ones. I still think it's a pretty solid kit. In all honesty, I'd put it in does the job. I think I rate these actually pretty highly, especially considering some of the other recent ones we've had. But I don't think they're at the level as some of the other ones that we have higher up the tier list.
Yeah, me personally, I'll put it in between the lowest and the middle. I think it's the first on the yellow tier that we have right there. I think yeah, they tried. It's nice. It's something different, but it just doesn't go so well. It's not that pleasing to the eye, really. And yeah, it could have just been white. Well, why do they try to overcomplicate something that everybody likes? But then, talking about stripes, it looks like the next one also has them.
And this one is the kit that we probably would have worn in the World Cup had we qualified. It's the 2018 home kit. And I'm going to be honest, I actually really like this kit. I wish we could have seen it in a World Cup, but I think what they have with the stripes, the red, white, and blue having all a prominent feature and having them kind of cut off, not going all the way across the jersey, I think is very unique. And honestly, it's kind of rare these days that we see something new that's tried, especially for a home kit that are usually just all white. So I'm going to put these up in Elite, to be completely honest. It's a shame that it was wasted on a very poor generation, but I think these kits, all things considered, are pretty solid.
Hey, come on, man. Zusi and Wondolowski got to wear that. That just puts it in Elite itself. No, I agree with you. I think that it's really creative, and it screams, we tried. And they really did try, and they did something. No, they did something. It's something new. Not exactly what everyone was asking for, but hey, it really would have been nice to wear this in the World Cup. I think it was a nice kit, and if we were to have a little bit of a remake based on future kits on that one, nobody would really have a problem. So I agree. I think Elite is fine, and I spent my money on that one, so I have to justify that spending habit there. So now moving on, we have a flashy one, Braden. Which one is this one?
Flashy is definitely a word you could use for it. There is a lot going on in this next kit, the 2021 away, and I think it's kind of just a dumpster fire. I think definitely the worst kit we had on here. I had to include it because it's one of the more recent ones, and because honestly we needed something to go down at the bottom. These kits, I don't even know what the design is. It's stripes kind of, but they're just going all over the place. The white and the blue, or not the white, the red and the blue. I have no idea what's going on. I do have this kit. I wish I didn't have it. I completely at the bottom, burn them. I don't want to see them ever again.
Yeah, I think that they were trying to do the stripes at this time around, but the designer got a seizure, and whatever happened on his keyboard, they just threw it. Yeah, we'll roll with it. I mean, if you look at that, I kind of have some fond memories because of that, particularly because of the crazy snow game that we played that on. But really, realistically speaking, if we were to redo that, I would say it's shambolic. So definitely at the very bottom. And again, we had to put something at the bottom here, so it has to be that one. Now, this is very recent times. If you're new to soccer, you have definitely seen these ones. We are past the 17, 18 generation. And which ones have we got up next?
You can see Yuri's wearing this one, the 2022 home ones from the World Cup. And I'll say this about both of the World Cup ones. You can see the away ones coming up next. I think these grew on a lot of people. When they first came out, I think most of the fan base, myself included, really didn't like them. I thought they were way too simple and bland, and just, I didn't know if I liked the middle crest thing. I thought for a World Cup in particular, we have to show out, and I don't know if these were necessarily doing that. But honestly, they've grown on us a lot, and I think it might be due to the performances. We had some good memories from that World Cup, particularly against England, that ballistic goal against Iran. But for these ones, honestly, the white ones, I'd put them in meh. I don't really rate them too highly. I think we've had a lot better white ones, as you can see off the tier list. So I'd put them in the middle, the yellow tier.
Yeah, I think that's fair, honestly. I mean, I have these jerseys, and I think they look really nice. I like wearing them. But yeah, I think that yellow is just fine, really. I think that the memories are probably what carries. It's so recent, fresh in the memory, but in the future we'll look back and this will not crack into anybody's top 10 USMNT jerseys. So that's just fine. Moving on to the away one. This one had a lot of talk around it.
Yeah, you can see I'm wearing the away one here, and I think I would put these slightly higher, maybe one tier higher than the home ones and that 2017 Gold Cup kit. I think these ones have grown on me a lot. I think when they first came out, I wasn't a fan at all. But honestly, looking at it and particularly wearing it, like you said, I think they're such nice kits to wear. And I think that plays a huge factor. And honestly, the little blue and black design or gradient of blue, I think it might be, I think it's honestly not that bad. I think we've had worse for sure. I'd put it up in the middle tier.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also have that kit. Exactly. At first, I only got this one. I thought that the blue one was, this is horrible. But it grows on you. I don't know why, but it does. I mean, everybody that I've spoken to, they end up liking it. It grows. It takes a bit of time, really. Not magnificent by any means, but yeah, a solid job. I think, especially compared to the other ones we have put in that category. Yeah, solid. I think it belongs right about there in the middle. Now, here's the time that maybe some of you have tuned in for the video, and we're going to be rating the new ones. These are leaks, again, not confirmed, but Football League seems to be very, very reliable with whatever they put out there. And I think, in fact, we will be playing with these in this year. Braden, introduce us.
Yep, it's the 2024 home and away. We'll start off with the home one. Like you said, they're not officially confirmed, but the leaks are usually pretty reliable. But I will say, especially for the home one, I really hope they're not, because honestly, this home kit, I really don't like it. I think the collar, I don't know if you can see it in the picture on the tier list, but the collar is a nice touch. Having a little bit of an American flag theme there. But honestly, the white, I don't really like it, and I don't know if it's just from the leaks or whatever, but the pattern, there seems to be a little slight pattern on the white, and I honestly just think it looks really bad. I don't know. I think all the other white kits we have on here are worse. I would even put this in the bottom tier, honestly. I think burn them. Hopefully the leaks don't become a reality.
Well, this is our first big disagreement on this one, because I think it's solid. I actually like this. I like the color a lot. And I will say this, the pattern that we see, that's likely the player version. What they will sell and what we can get our hands to, unless you're rich and you can splash it, it's going to be a really nice, solid, modern not modern, but uniform pattern. It's not going to have any crazy things going on. So I actually like the color for this one. I wish they would just do a round color for this. I think it'd be better, but I mean, I'm not the one who made these. And I think that, yeah, about yellow is fine. I wouldn't put it at the very bottom. Maybe that's for later. Who knows? Now introduce us to the next one.
I kind of alluded to this one, the final kit, earlier when I mentioned the 2014 away, and it's kind of the knockoff version, the Goodwill, the Walmart version, if you will, of that kit. I do like what they're trying here. Honestly, the fact that they're including all three colors, the little bomb pop going back to that with the white stripe across. But the red, it kind of just seems like it's there just to be there. It's not really doing a lot for me there. And I will say I like these better than the white ones. I don't know if that's controversial necessarily. I've seen a lot of contrasting opinions on both of these kits online from our USMNT fans. But for this one, I think I'd definitely put it up in the mid tier. Not at the very bottom, but pretty close to it.
Again, we'll disagree on this one. Maybe, just maybe, they'll grow on me. Because at first, when the blue ones came out for the World Cup, I already said I didn't like it. And I really don't like these ones. I don't know, for some reason, I would never spend my money on this one. And I think it's the Walmart version that, I don't know, your cousin spilled some Kool-Aid on it, and it ended up at Goodwill. That's the only way I can describe on what they tried to emulate, comparing to that elite S tier bebop we had in the 2014 World Cup. I really don't like this one. I'll put it at the very bottom, but I'll say this, I'm open-minded. And hey, if we go on a historic run in Copa America, I'll buy that for sure. I mean, campaigns really do make kits when we think about it. That's how many kits for other national teams became iconic. Maybe, just maybe, these kits by the end of the summer are going to be elite and S tier for a lot of us, hopefully. But that wraps it up. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like, share with your friends if you like it or not. Comment down below what you thought. Do you think that these are fair assumptions? Do you like this type of content? We're new to the platform. We have a growing community. Would love if you can stick around. Share with your friends again, and we'll see you next time.